Are you a Mac user struggling to manage your files and folders? This is what we're going to look at in this video. We're going to look at how we can manage our files and folders with the Finder. This is a key application on the Mac. It's probably the app that you use the most on your Mac. You don't even realize it. With the Finder, what we're able to do is manage all of our files and folders. We can change the view. We can modify the sidebar in a window. We can even change the toolbar. This is what we're going to look at in this video. Let's take a look at the Finder on the Mac and see why it's so important to master how to use the Finder. All right, so what is the Finder? Well, if we look at my Mac, you're going to see over on the left side of my dock here, I have this little smiley face. Every Mac has this. This is just an application, but it is always running. With the Finder, what we're able to do is basically browse around our Mac. We can browse around in different folders. So when I click on this, what it's going to do is open up a new window. So I click on it, and we can see we have a new window. Within this window, I have all of my folders. Now the Finder can have multiple windows. If I wanted to open up a new window, all I do is just go up to File here, and then we go over to New Finder Window. Select it, and now I have a couple of different Finder windows. Each window can be opened up to a different folder. So in this case here, this is opened up to my Johnny Appleseed, while this one here is open to my downloads. Now I mentioned that this is just an application. If we look in the menu bar on the Mac, we can see what application we're in. You're going to see when I have any of these windows active, or even if I click on the desktop here, what it does is it brings me to the Finder. If I open up another application, let's go over to my Notes app here. You're going to see that my Notes app now is active. So how do we get back to that Finder? Again, we just have to click on any one of the windows here, any of the Finder windows, or what we do is we click on the desktop and it brings us back over to the Finder. So now let's take a closer look at a Finder window. I'm going to close this window here. So this is a Finder window. Across the top we have our toolbar. This is where we have a number of different tools. We can change the view. We can search. Over on the left side we have my sidebar. With the sidebar here, what we're able to do is favorite folders. If there's a folder that you like, what you're able to do is place it in the sidebar so you have easy access to it. To favorite a folder, all you have to do is just drag it. Let's say I wanted to favorite, I'm going to go back here, I wanted to favorite Aaron Neville. All I have to do is just drag this over here to the sidebar. We look for that little horizontal line, and when I let go, we can now see we have that folder. To remove it, I Control-click on it, and then you're going to see Remove from Sidebar. Select it, and it removes it from the sidebar, but it does not delete it. Every Finder window is going to have the same items. So if I go and add a folder here in this sidebar window, when I create a new folder, it's going to be in this window. Any tools that I change up here, and we can change this toolbar, will be changed on all of the windows. So all of your Finder windows are going to have the same sidebar, the same toolbar. Now what they can do is have different views. We can change the view of our files and folders. To do that, what we do is we just go over to the right here. I am using macOS Ventura. You're going to see that I have these four different views here. All I have to do is just click on the view I want. I'm going to go with icon view, and now we're looking at my folders in icon view. But this only applies to this window. So when I go back to my other window, you're going to see that this window here is still in list view. I can also view them in column view. This is actually my favorite view. I'm going to open up a new Finder window. And I want to put this in column view. I click on this, and now we can see it's in column view. So I have one in list view, one in icon view, and one in column view. With column view, what I'm able to do is just click on a folder, and I can see everything within that folder. If there's another folder in here, I can click on that folder, and I can see everything in that folder. And then there's also a gallery view. What this will do is put the image towards the top and all of the contents here across the bottom. I very rarely use this one. I'm going to go back to my favorite. Now we do have a quick look with the Finder. What is quick look? Well, what we're able to do is quickly look at a file without actually opening it up. As an example, let's take a look at this budget here. This is written or created in Numbers. Well, in order to view it, I don't actually have to open it up in Numbers. All I have to do is just tap the spacebar. So I'm going to tap the spacebar here, and I can see that spreadsheet. I did not open it up in Numbers. You're going to see I'm still in my Finder. Remember, the Finder is just an application. How do I get rid of this? I just hit the spacebar again, and it goes away. Now, if you wanted to open it up, all I have to do is just double-click on it, or when you are looking at it in Quick Look, you can go up to the right and open with the application. So again, this one opens up in Numbers. Let's go and find another one. I'm going to swipe up here. We have this PDF here. When I select it and then tap the spacebar, I can view it. I'm still in my Finder here, and if I wanted to open it up, all I have to do is just go open and preview. That's what PDFs open up natively on the Mac in the Preview app. So that's our quick look, something that I use every day. You don't actually have to open up the document or the picture. You can just use the spacebar to look at it, and then if you want to open it up, you can go and open it up. It's a great way to find a specific file or folder. Speaking of finding, how do we find our files and folders? Well, all you have to do is just go over to the right in the window here, the Finder window, and you're going to see Search. When I click on this, I'm able to type in what I'm looking for. Now from here, let's go ahead and type in membership. You're going to see towards the top of the window, I can search this Mac, or what I can do is search this folder. I am in my Downloads folder. So let's say I knew that the document was in my Downloads folder. Well, if I just wanted to search my Documents folder or my Downloads folder, all I have to do is just click on this, and now it's only searching my Downloads folder. If I didn't find it here, maybe it's in another folder on my Mac, what I can do is go over to the left here and say search this Mac. Now it's going to search all of the folders on the Mac. And if you want to see where it is, all you have to do is just select it, and then down towards the bottom we can see where that file or folder is. This is what is called a path bar. Now we can enable this path bar by default so it shows all the time. It does not show all the time when you're looking at a Finder window. To enable it, what we do is we go up to View in the menu bar, and then you're going to see Hide or Show Path Bar. Now mine is turned on. If I wanted to hide it, I select this, and now we no longer have that path bar, so I can't easily see where a file is. I like to have this path bar on. So I go up to View, and we go to Show Path Bar. Select this, and now when I select a file here, I can easily see where that file is. We also have a status bar. You're going to see that I have my status bar here. I can see that I have one of 16 files selected. My computer has 117 gigabytes available. This is what is called a status bar. This is off by default as well. So how did I turn this on? Well, basically we just go up to our view, and then you're going to see Hide or Show Status Bar. By default it's going to say Show. So when I select this, we can see that that status bar is no longer there. I just have my path bar. Now when I go up to View, I go to Show Status Bar, and now I have my status bar. I like to have that on as well. While we're on our files and folders, let's take a look at our desktop. The desktop is just another folder in your Finder. So when I go over to my Finder here, you're going to see that I have Desktop. And when I click on it, I can see everything that's on my desktop. Now, I don't have anything on my desktop. Let's go ahead and move a couple of items to my desktop. So all I have to do is just go to another folder. This is how we can move files and folders from one folder to another. We just open up two Finder windows and then drag them. So I'm just going to take these and I drag them over to this other folder here, my desktop folder. And when I do, it moves them out of my downloads and into my desktop folder. And my desktop folder is also what is showing on my desktop. So if I go and add some more items in here, let's go ahead and add some more spreadsheets in here. When I go and drag them over here, we can see it added it to my desktop. If I remove any of these, let's go and remove these. It'll remove them from my desktop and place them back in my downloads. Now we can also copy. To copy them, what we do is we hold down the Option key. If we're going from one folder to another, which is what I'm doing, I'm going from the Downloads folder over to my desktop. So I'm going from one folder to another. All I have to do is just hold down the Option key and drag. And when you do, you're going to see that I have a little plus there by my cursor, a little green plus. That means it's going to copy these. So let's go ahead and copy these. And now we can see we still have them in my Downloads folder, and we have them on my desktop. All right, my desktop is getting a little bit messy. I'd like to clean this up. Well, we have a few options for cleaning up the desktop when we're in the Finder. Again, this is all about the Finder. So when I'm in my Finder here, let's go ahead and close these windows here. I'm looking at my desktop. I'm in my Finder here. I'd like to clean this up. Maybe I have a few of these over to the left. I go and add some more. Let's go ahead and duplicate these. You can see they're starting to pile up on each other. I need to clean this up. How do we do that? Well, if you just wanted to clean up a selection, so I just have these 3 files here selected. I do not have any of these other files selected. All I have to do is just go up to View here. And when I do, what I'm able to do is clean up the selection. It's going to reorganize just those 3 files. So let's go ahead and select this. And we can see it just moved them over a little bit. Now my desktop is still a little messy. What I would like to do is maybe organize these. Well, we can do that as well. If we go up to View here, what we're able to do is clean up by name, kind, date, size created, or even tags. So I'm going to go with kind. It's going to clean them up by kind. So I select this. And now we can see all my spreadsheets are grouped together. My images are grouped together. My iMovies are grouped together. Now this is kind of nice, but if I go and add some more files, let's go ahead and duplicate these again. It's still messy. Now I have to do that again. So the next step is to have it automatically clean it. How do we do that? Well, go up to View again, and instead of clean up by, what we need to do is we need to sort it. When we sort it by a specific type or date or kind, what it's going to do is keep it organized. So now let's go with kind again. And again, I'm going with sort here, and now it's going to keep them organized. If I go and add some more items here, let's just go ahead and duplicate these. It's pretty easy to do, to duplicate them. Command D. We can see that it still kept them organized. Now, let's go and duplicate a lot of these here. You can see that my desktop is starting to get full. Well, what we can do is organize them by stacks. So it's going to stack all of my spreadsheets together. This is the next step. It's going to stack all of my images together. How do we do that? Well, again, we go up to View here. Again, we do have to be in our Finder. This is a Finder feature. And we go up to Use Stacks. When I set this, what it's going to do is stack all of my different documents together. So let's go ahead and select this. And now we can see all of my documents are here. All of my spreadsheets are here. If I click on the stack, it's going to show me all of the spreadsheets. I click on it again. It puts them back into a stack. I want to see all of my movies. Click on Movies. I can see all of my movies. Click on the stack again, and puts it back into a stack. So this can easily keep your desktop organized, and you can open up more than one stack at a time. You can see I have my documents opened, and I have my movies opened. So that's how we can keep our organized stacked within our Finder. What else do we have? Well, we do have a few preferences or settings. Again, I'm using macOS Ventura, so they're called settings. But even if you're using an older version of macOS, the settings haven't changed too much. Where do we find these? All we have to do is just make sure that we're in our Finder again. If you're not in the Finder, what you need to do is just click on the desktop or click on a Finder window. And then when you go to the Finder here, you're going to see Settings. Again, if you're using an older version of Mac OS, you're going to see Preferences. Either way, all you have to do is just select this. A new window opens up, and you're going to see your Finder settings. Now, this is divided into a group of different tabs. We have our general settings here. With the general settings, what we're able to do is show different items on the desktop. I can also set what a new Finder window opens to. By default, this is set to recent. I don't like to have it set to recent. I like to have mine set to the home folder. So now when I open up a new Finder window, you're going to see it goes to my home folder. It doesn't go to recents. If I want to go to recents, I can still access that in the sidebar. So how did I do that? Well, I just went and selected the folder I wanted to open up to here. Now all of my Finder windows, any new Finder window is going to open up to my home folder here. What else do we have? Well, we have our different tags. I'm not going to talk about tags, but basically what we're able to do is apply tags to files. We can also do this with folders. So then what you're able to do is tag different files and folders to different categories. You can actually apply multiple tags to a file or folder. That's the advantage of tags. We also have our sidebar. Remember how we can customize that sidebar? Well, this is where we can set what is in it as well. We can drag stuff in there, of course. I showed you that towards the beginning of the video. But also what we're able to do is just select what we want to see in there. And then we have more advanced features. We can show file names extensions. So a Windows document is called .doc. A Pages document is called .pages, pages. So what we're able to do is show those file extensions if we want. I typically will leave this turned off. I can show a warning before changing any extension. Those are those extensions that I just mentioned. I can also show a warning before emptying the trash. I can remove items from the trash after 30 days. So if something is thrown away, it's going to stay in your trash for 30 days. And then after 30 days, as long as this is turned on, it'll automatically empty that trash. So you no longer have to empty the trash manually. And then we have keep folders on top. When we're looking at files and folders in a list view, remember the different views I had? Well, when we're looking at it in list view, let's go ahead and open up a new window here. We'll go to downloads. I'm going to go to my list view. You're going to see that I do have some folders in here. Well, what I'm able to do is put those at the top. So I select this, and when I'm sorting by name, this is what it says here. So there are a few criteria here. You have to put it in list view, and you have to sort it by name. So I'm going to click on name here. It's going to sort it by name. This is how we sort our files. Now, you can see that my folders are on top, even though they should really be down towards the bottom since it's sorted by name. But being that I have this checked here, what it does is it puts them at top. We can also do the same thing on the desktop. So if I had any folders on the desktop, they would be at the top as well. They'd be in the upper right-hand corner here. And then when we're performing a search, remember that search within a Finder window? When I go over here to this search here, by default, at least in my case here, what it's going to do is it's going to search my Mac. This is where that is set up. If you wanted to select the folder by default, all you have to do is just go and search the current folder. Now what it'll do, when I search in here, is it's going to search downloads first. So let's go ahead and search for that membership again. And you're going to see that it went to downloads first. And if I wanted to search the Mac, I can search the Mac. So I click on this, and now it's going to search the Mac. So it reversed it. When I showed you this earlier, it searched the Mac first, and then I had to click on downloads. Well, if you don't like that behavior, you can set it in advanced under your Finder settings or preferences. Let's take a look at a couple more things here. I mentioned that we can sort our lists. When we're looking at our files in a list view, I have to go over to my list view, so I click on view here, and we go over to list. Now what I'm able to do is sort it. So you're going to see I have name here, kind, and the date last opened. Right now it is sorted by the date last opened. This is why this is bold. If I wanted to reverse the sort order, I can click on this, and it'll reverse it. You're going to see that I have a little download error, so it's descending. Click on it. Now it's ascending. I want to search it by name. I go over to the left, click on name, and then I can change the sort order. If you want to change what is shown in these columns, we can do that as well. All we have to do is just go up to View here, and then what you're going to see is Show View Options. And from here, what I'm able to do is select what I want to see in my columns. So I'd like to see when it was added, when that file was added to my computer. Not when it was modified. I want to see when it was added as well. All I have to do is just select this. And now, when we go to my Finder window here, you're going to see I have date added. So what is the last file that I added here? All I have to do is just select it to sort it. And we can see that the last file I added was March 15, and it's membership economy. And then we'll end with customizing the toolbar. I mentioned this towards the beginning. What we're able to do is customize what is in this toolbar. How do we do that? Well, all we have to do is just hold down the Control key and I click. You're going to see Customize Toolbar. When I select this, what I'm able to do is drag all these different tools here over to my toolbar. So let's say I wanted to have Quick Look in my toolbar. I just drag this up, I place it where I want. You can see I have a green plus there, and now I have Quick Look in there. Maybe I don't want to have Delete in here. I added this earlier. Just drag it out, and now it's no longer in there. I want to have the default set in there, the default set of tools. What it came with when I first got my Mac. You just drag this up, and it replaces what you have with the default set. Now what you're able to do is just go and add other tools as you need them. And again, being that this is the toolbar in a Finder window, any changes you make, let's go ahead and add Quick Look back in there. Any changes that you make will be applied to all of your windows. Again, all of your windows have the same toolbar and they have the same sidebar, although we can look at them in different views. Now, if you want to open up your windows in tabs instead of separate windows, I have all these different windows open here. What we are able to do is open them up in tabs, have different folders open in tabs. You're going to see when I go up to File here, I can go New Tab. When I select this, it's going to be one window, but what I'm able to do is view two different folders in there. So here's Johnny Appleseed. Let's go ahead and switch this to Downloads. So now I'm looking at my downloads here. And with this one, I'm looking at my home folder. Let's go ahead and close these here. Let's go and add another tab. All we have to do is just go over to the plus here. This is another way of adding a tab. Click on it. Now we're going to go to Movies. So now I have my Movies folder, my Downloads folder. Click on it to bring it forward. And then I have my Johnny Appleseed, all within one window. Now, if you want to bring a window out or a tab out as a separate window, we can do that. How do you think we would do that? Drag and drop. So now, let's say I wanted to have Downloads as a separate window. Right now, it's all in the same window here as a tab. All I do is just take this and I drag it out. You're going to see that the icon changed. And when I let go, now this Downloads is a separate window. But within this window, I do have my Movies, and I do have my Johnny Appleseed. And again, I can add more tabs to this window, and I can add more tabs to this window. How do I do that? Being that this doesn't have a tab, what I need to do is just go up under File here, and we select New Tab. When I do that, I can now go and add more tabs. I have to show a tab before this little plus shows. So that is a look at our Finder. Again, our Finder is a crucial component of working with our Mac. It's basically where we can manage all of our files and folders. And as you can see, there's a lot of different options that we have available to us. So what I would recommend doing is just playing around with it, maybe changing the toolbar, see if there's some tools that you can use on a regular basis in there, or even going to the Finder settings or preferences and making a few changes in there. Don't make a lot of changes in the beginning. Start out with a small set of changes. Maybe use desktop folders. Turn on a couple of the items. Get used to it. And then, as you continue using the Finder, just go back periodically to the Finder settings or preferences and see if there's some other changes that maybe you want to make. So that's a look at the Finder and how we can use it to organize our files and folders on the Mac.